Hi, and welcome to the first episode of Jobs That AI Cannot Replace. Here with Monique from Alma Solutions and me from Postbot. All right, so Alma, I wanted to talk to you today because I went to your graduation classes and I saw the projects that your students did, and I just wanted to hear more about your experience of teaching people about AI who never touched AI before this.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me, G. I'm so excited to be here. Absolutely. I mean, it's been a crazy journey. I didn't originally get into AI. I'll kind of sit up. I didn't originally get into AI to get into teaching. I really got into it to help myself as a small business owner. I was just like one person and just doing too much and was trying to do less. And so came across AI and automations, started using it. It ended up being amazing. I was like, oh my gosh, this is the future. This is the now. This is the answer. And that opened a door to being able to teach at one of the colleges nearby, Miami-Dade College, and opened the door to teach other small businesses how to use AI. And so it's been a whole 9 months since we've been doing that process, and it's been really interesting. A lot of the students that we have come by are all different technological levels, all different types of businesses, different employee sizes, different company sizes. Some people don't even own computers, or when they come in, they're just curious and they're hungry. But we even have people that have different risk tolerances in class as well. So it's been really interesting to see the vast span of that. And I think the biggest thing that people have kind of walked away with is seeing that AI is meant to empower you. It's not meant to replace you. It's meant to make you superhuman. And I mean that in the sense of if we can have, I always say this in class, if we can have the robots do the robot work, right, we can get back to humans doing the human work, right, which is the connection and the empathy and spending time with your family and things that are important to us personally.
Yeah, so how do you think the experience would have been if they went to class and on the first day they were told, and AI is going to teach you AI today?
Oh my gosh, I think that'd be crazy. I think people already are just so cautious of AI and so hesitant with what it is because of this fear, which, if I'm being honest, I think a lot of this also comes from all the movies we've been watching for years and years and years that keep telling us that this is the future and this is coming, right? We go way back to even the Jetsons, right?
Yes.
And so this dystopian world has kind of been in our culture for already so long. And so I think the fact that people can touch it a little bit more now is what feels so scary. And most people are just scared of the unknown, right? But yeah, I think people would flip out if they had walked in and it was just an AI teaching. I think half the class would probably walk out.
Absolutely. And I wanted to talk about I had a friend that was in your class. I'm not gonna name her because I'm not sure if she wanted to talk about her. However,
we love her.
Yes, we love you. But we were hanging out for the longest time, and I was trying to explain what I did and what Postbot did, and it just didn't work. No matter what I did, she was like, "Oh, I'm not sure." And the day she graduated your class, she came to me and she was like, "Gee, I know what you do finally." And I was like,
I get it.
And I was like, it took just a few weeks in this class when for months and months, I've been trying to explain to you. So for myself, I was definitely in awe, in the difference that you can make in people. And when I saw the projects that your students did and I saw their background, none of them were technical, right? But they graduated your class and they were comfortable with creating their own GPTs, and they were doing presentations of it, right? And they were so proud of themselves. And this is the lasting effect of you making someone feeling comfortable, hey, AI can be my friend. It's not here to take my job because it can't do what their specialties are, but it can make their job a little bit easier.
Yeah, absolutely. It can make your job easier. It can make your everyday life easier, right? It the way I see it, and kind of some of the AI tools I've been building personally, I'm not a coder, I'm not technical at all, don't have your background or experience, But I've been using AI in my weaknesses. Like, where as a business owner do I fall short that I can't fall short in? Because my business is counting on me, not just my business, but my employees, and not just my employees, but the people I'm serving, they're counting on me. So I need to like be on my A game at all times. But I got weaknesses, and I will boldly admit that. And so where I've been using AI is, what are my weaknesses and where can AI support me there so that I can focus on what I'm really good at? Which, like, for example, one of those examples is like following up with people after events. So good at meeting you, talking to you, connecting. Yes. Like, we have this like awesome connection in person.
I love that.
And I want to like keep talking and keep growing, keep building our relationship, right? But like, I walk away with like a stack of business cards, and then to like sit down and write emails and like do like approach you through a computer. Like, no, I'd just rather give you a call, but I know people are busy. And so like, it's like, so in that regard, like, I build a custom GPT that helps me with like follow-ups, like on the spot. So we could talk, we have an amazing conversation. I go to my ChatGPT, I send you a brief email through ChatGPT, and then you already have an email. I don't have to worry about follow-up. We can continue the relationship, and I can go back to just spending time connecting with like other people.
That's amazing. I do love that. I think that, you know, I spend too much time kind of hiding in my little like cave. But when you come over and we talk about, right, like AI and what you're doing, and like, how it relates to like people and what value it adds, you get me excited. You know, I'm doing this all day, but I talk to you and I'm like, this is amazing. I love this.
This is life-changing.
You know. And so I really appreciate like what you do, and I think that like this is the way, like, to make a friend out of AI, but you need a friendly face to do that. You know, like, we are, you know, humans. We're just a feedback loop of like looking at someone, feeling what you're feeling, and like when you vibrate that energy of like, hey, I'm calm, I feel good about this, and it can help you, and I want to help you, then people are more like receptive, versus if you gave them like a technical document or like a job aid or something and be like, hey, figure this out, when they're already like, I'm not sure how I feel about that.
Hesitant? Yeah. Oh my gosh, you bring up such good points. So like 2 points there. One, like, I hadn't even thought about it until you just mentioned it, but like, communication is 80% body language. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's so wild. So that's something that like AI and robots could never give us, like the 80% of how we communicate with one another.
Yeah.
And also, another point that you mentioned is like diffusing the situation, right? Like, in class, people get riled up because they're coming up against fear. They're coming up against insecurities. They're coming up against like whatever is gonna come up for them, right? As they're being challenged to learn new things and things that are hard. A lot of people like don't want to, right, necessarily lean into like hard things. They just want things to come naturally and easy. And so in those moments, it is like, as an educator, I need to be aware of where everyone is in the classroom. And I need to be like sharp and be like, okay, where can I defuse the situation to bring them back to an open mind of learning? Because as soon as you shut yourself out, like, that's it, like, that's a wall. And like, unless we like diffuse that, like, that stops growth ultimately. And that's not just in the classroom, right? That's in life in general. But I don't know if AI will be able to do that.
And like when I go to events and I see your students see you, they're like, Monique, oh my God. And they're like so excited, right? To see you and like tell everyone like, this is my AI teacher. She got me to where I am today. And like that emotion that you elicit, right? That vibration that you like, you know, inspire, it cannot be emulated by an AI, because the AI is not going to come to your happy hour. You know, and I mean, right?
It's not going to be like, oh my gosh, let me talk to you about.
Right? Exactly.
I mean, I guess it could if we trained it to, but even if it verbally was able to be emotive in that way, it's not actually feeling it. Right. It's not actually transferring, like what you're saying.
Right.
Like that energy or the cell, the bonding like elements, right? Or like the different like chemical compounds and stuff.
Yeah, like I can't have a drink with you, and I cannot have 6 scoops of ice cream with you and regret it later on.
True story. Did you regret it?
No, it was so good. It was so good. I would do it again. Yes.
10 out of 10 recommend. Yeah, AI cannot eat 6 scoops of ice cream with you in Gainesville. on a 36-hour trip.
Right? So that you know, but you think about these things, and I'm like, these experiences is what like mold our like subjective nature and like our experiences and our consciousness. I mean, I don't know if AI at some point will become a sentient being, but for the time being right now, it can't give you that experience. You know?
Yeah. It needs the human oversight still in a lot of ways, right? To help like move that and mold that, or even like provide like context. Like I was thinking about this and I was like, oh my gosh, like what about like inside jokes, you know? And like things like that. Like I'm sure you could have inside jokes with your AI, but would it be able to like bring it back up, you know? Would it be able to like,
I mean, unless you're talking to it, it's not gonna just like come out of nowhere and say, by the way, this situation, let me tell you this joke. That would be kind of creepy if out of nowhere, like, right? Like you're like, I wasn't even engaging you.
Well, it's kind of like Alexa going off and like answering random stuff.
Yeah.
Right? But yeah, it's not, I'm not looking at you straight in the eyes like when it comes to AI.
Yeah. No, it's true. So I think that everything that you're doing is so amazing because you are helping people embrace a technology that can add value, but you're like putting it where it is, right? It's something that can help us do what we're doing better, but not replacing what we're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Like my heart at the end of the day is to help like business owners and really anyone who's non-technical and wants to learn how to use AI and automations, because really AI is like the thinker and automations are like the doers, and the superpower is like when humans, AI, and automation come together. But really my heart in all of this is to help people find like freedom and independence in different ways. That could be time freedom, which AI is doing so much of that right now. That could be financial freedom, which we're seeing new waves, right? The fastest people to get to like million, billion, and I'm sure we'll see like trillions of dollars like solo, like just with AI, like is happening now, this like exchange of wealth. So there's time freedom, financial freedom, I don't know what other freedoms. There's a whole bunch of other freedoms that I can't think of right now, but like, but essentially just help people. Like most people, you start a business, right? Because you have a goal, you have a dream, you have this idea, you have these people you want to help, but also you want to be able to dictate what you're doing with your time. You want to be able to dictate how much money you have, right? You don't want to have caps like anywhere in your life, and it takes a couple years of hard work to get there, but like once you get there, like that is beautiful. And then how much more generous can we be of humans when we have more time available? How much more present can we be with our kids?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Right? And like being there for like all the little moments that like if you were stuck in an office all day, like it takes you away from that.
Absolutely. Awesome.
I'd love to hear from you about just your background as a software developer, right? Which like, I think what AI has shifted, or what is shifting, is it's picking up on all the hard skills, right? Which for so long was like at the forefront, like learn hard skills. So we'd love to hear from your perspective, just like that shift and how that's evolved, just your role and your career essentially.
I think, you know, growing up, you know, my parents always emphasized on education. It was the only way, you know, get technical. It was just education. Like, don't worry about hanging out with your friends. You don't need those soft skills because that's not going to get you paid, right? So it was just like hiding behind my desk and just kind of like heads down and all these things. But like now I'm finding that, oh my God, we have to come out of our cave, because like even as software developers, like, you know, it's like we will become obsolete. That's one job that AI can't actually replace, because it's very technical, right? It's like, you know, bookkeeping. It's like, it's very specific, so AI can replace that, and there's not much relationship based to it. So I do see that is something that it will. However, what it's done for me is that like it's helped me really understand like what is needed by other people. Like because of AI, like I started talking to small businesses, and like instead of working for enterprise companies and, you know, creating like customized solutions for them, I started going to like Chamber of Commerce's and like meeting all these small businesses and say, hey, listen, I have this set of skills. How can I solve something for you? You know, and understand like what is, you know, what is a payment structure that makes sense for you as a small business. And then like it forced me to go out and talk to people, not just like talk to a machine. And because of that, like I made so many like amazing friends. I have so many like small business owner friends that I talk to. And because of that, like I was able to create my AI receptionist business, because this is something that every small business tells me, I don't want to miss a call. However, sometimes I'm just one person doing this and another client's calling me. I don't want to be rude. What do I do? And a voicemail usually isn't really the most helpful thing. People don't leave a voicemail. I want something more interactive, where, you know, with more character and can give information and send me, you know, like a summary afterwards, so that I can still do what I do, but not have to afford a full-time person to maybe pick up 1 or 2 calls a week, right?
Yeah.
And I don't want to pay for an expensive tool that I'm paying a couple $100. I just want to pay for what I use. So, but it was this human interaction that I wouldn't have had otherwise to get to where I am today with Postbot. You know, so there are like blessings to things.
Getting out of the cave.
Exactly, to getting out of the cave, exactly.
That's amazing. No, that's so crazy, and like I feel like that should be a much more open conversation in like the AI space, right? For like someone like me who was an educator and communicator previously, right? Like soft skills were always like almost looked down on. And like I knew how important they were, but like people didn't take me seriously how like important they were. And because the emphasis was always hard skills, right? And so I always kind of felt lost in the world because I don't feel like I have these like per se hard skills. And I tried, you know, but like I just rather be in front of a human and like just talk to you, you know? And now I feel like that is shifting for us, whereas like same for you, you're kind of like seeing it on the other side. So I wonder if there's like, we're at a point of like balance right now where like both are needed and both are necessary in different ways.
I feel like if it wasn't for this like AI movement, we probably wouldn't have been friends, because I would have never came out, right? And you know, spend time to like meet all these, like, you know, I think because there is like an intersection, like, and we're making friends that we wouldn't have made unless this movement happened. So I think it's pretty cool.
And we're using skills, like in your case, like you're using skills in your day-to-day that you otherwise wouldn't had you just been limited to like software development, right? Like now you're connecting with people, you're going out, like you're doing all these other things.
Making lots of friends.
Yeah, absolutely. And on my end, I feel like because AI is now becoming no code in a lot of ways, right? Or low code, it's allowing me to actually build things and tools like that otherwise would have been considered technical, that unless I went to boot camps and stuff, I would have never learned how to do. And now like AI is helping me to do that as well. So I think that's super cool too, just like the
I think it's amazing because then like there's more tools that help with like, you know, how to meet other people and be efficient with it, right? Like you said, the tool that you made where your GPT would send an email and then just move on, and then you're like, all right, that connect's made. Now we can talk because I know I'm not going to forget about you. It's done in the background, you know? So like it smooths out like the friction of like, hey, can I give you my number? Can you add me on LinkedIn? It's like just one click. We have each other. Let's just get on with what we want to talk about, and you know, you will find
present.
me. Yes, being present in the moment. Yes, because that's all we have, right? Like the only real moments are the present moments, right?
Absolutely.
So it will empower us to like enjoy these moments, which I think is amazing.
Yeah, that's what life is about. Life is about living, and we were talking earlier about how like as humans, we're made to be social beings. We weren't meant to be like individual or siloed, you know, like it's literally in our nature, in our being to like be with one another. So I think in a lot of ways, people are fearful that like as humans, they'll become irrelevant. But I think if we look at it from a different perspective, it's like, no, it'll actually give us an opportunity to like connect more. Right? And yeah, I think with that right now, something we haven't like touched on is just like ethics in terms of like AI. And like I personally think right now is such a pivotal time for us to like speak up and speak out about how we want AI to be formed in the world. Even though they've been going at it for like 50 years already, but like as it's becoming more mainstream, right? Like having a deeper say in what the evolution of that looks like. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, there is a lot to be discussed about that. but you know.
For another podcast episode.
That's for another
She's like, oh no, let's not go there.
It's all good. So thank you so much for being the guest on my first podcast of Jobs That AI Cannot Replace. You guys see her amazing personality and how good she is, and you understand exactly why we need her to do what she does.
Teaching, educating, keep going out there and showing what you know. It's the best way. Thank you for having me. Yay!